Hey cats, what's happening? Well, there's another thing I don't like about winter. It sure gets dark early, doesn't it? The days are so short. I mean, it seems like you just get going and you turn around and it's like, it's dark outside already. Good grief. Well, hey, wish you were here today. We could sit around, chit-chat, talk about a few things. I guess you could tell by the title of my video what the conversation is going to be today. Most of you that have watched my videos know that, I ride a 99 Fat Boy. It's a cruiser, designed for comfort and, longer rides. But let's talk about the sport bike, How did that come to be, and why would anybody, I'm just saying, why would anybody want to ride a sport bike? Perhaps you got a good reason. Seems that the attracts more of the younger crowd than older guys like me. Now, I have ridden sport bikes, so I know what it's involved there. I think the sport bike originally when it really started to take off, was probably in the early 1980s when some of the bikes started to emulate road racers. There was a road racing circuit, and the race bikes were made where you lay down on them to cut wind resistance. And so they started making these bikes that were somewhat similar. They had the racing colors, the red and the white. Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha started making some models that were similar to the racing bikes. In fact, look at this picture here. This is 1973, but they were actually selling these road racers. They had a 250 and a 350 cc. And they were, those kind of styles were used on track races, not for street riding. Although I suppose you could have them licensed for street riding. They weren't really made for comfort, though. And the sports bikes of today are designed 100% for speed, power, agility, braking. They're high performance bikes. They're not designed for comfort so much. So those that would be interested in buying a sports bike would be somebody that would be into high speed, really fast takeoffs, and really fast braking, perhaps even some stunt riding. The sports bikes, there's actually a circuit of stunt bike riders that are very agile at their sport. And they can stand these bikes up on the back wheel and just ride, 65, 70 mile an hour, no problem. They'll even stand up on the seat while they're riding, among other stunts. There's those that'll slam on their brakes so hard that the motorcycle will go up on the front tire and they'll just balance it on the front tire. Back tire up in the air. Yeah, I've seen it all. I haven't ridden a sport bike that way. I just, rode them out on the street. But anyway, they're not designed for comfort at all. I mean, look at my bike. I've got this nice big padded seat here with a gel pad in there. That's comfort. That's something on a sport bike you're not going to find on a sports bike. That's a nice big saddle. You also got a nice big saddle for the passenger here. You're not going to find that on a sports bike either. I mean, you're lucky if it even has a back seat for your girl to sit on. The other thing you may have noticed with sports bike riders, when they're on the road, they have to wear a backpack. Little shoulder straps and a little backpack on the back. Because they don't have saddlebags. They can't carry anything unless they got a little backpack on their back. So, my bike, it's got tools, it's got rain gear, it's got any other thing that I would need to travel around and enjoy the country. Where a sports bike, I don't know how far somebody could ride comfortably on a sports bike. I mean, I've been on this thing over 850 miles in one day, and it's almost nonstop riding. I'd like to see somebody keep up with me on a sport bike for that long and that many miles. I'm sure there's guys that have done it, but oh my gosh, my back would be breaking. I mean, I remember, bending over the gas tank, the full face helmet on, trying to crane my neck up like this because I'm practically laying down on the gas tank. That's the way these bikes are designed for less wind resistance. You lay down. A race bike, you lay down. A cruiser like this, you're sitting up. You're comfortable. You got the comfortable seat. You got the nice wide handlebars for control, and it gives you a nice, you're sitting up where it's not a strain on your back either. But like I said, some people like the sport bikes. They enjoy that power, that fast speed, the cornering, and really these bikes were completely designed for the racetrack, not for the road. But these kids ride them on the road, and they ride them like they're on a racetrack, or they ride it like they're on a stunt circuit, and you'll see them doing crazy, foolish things on stunt bikes that you won't see somebody doing on wild. You'd be pretty hard pressed to try to do that kind of a thing on this bike, that's for sure. It's not designed, it's too heavy, it doesn't have the torque or the power, and you'd have a hard... I suppose somebody could get the front wheel off the ground on this bike and get it into a wheelie, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't abuse my bike that way. I have seen people do it on Harleys, though. But I wouldn't put my bike through that. But now it brings me the question of, nowadays, and we've talked about this before, the dangers of riding out on the road today with the cell phones and just the inattentive drivers out there that aren't paying attention. You can go, here where we live, you can go out on the road any day. And whether I'm driving in my 2500 or the Nissan Rogue over there or on the Harley, every time I go out, somebody's coming left of the center line. They're not paying attention to what they're doing. They're playing with their phone or something, and they're drifting left to center. I see it almost every day. And we live in a rural area, but as you head into town, you're getting to see more traffic, and you're going to see that happening. So as the roads are more dangerous, and yet you're going to take a sports bike out there and ride dangerously, my question is, I would really like to see what the statistics are on motorcycle accidents. Whether they're fatalities or not doesn't really matter, but in adverse to either riding a regular cruiser style bike or a sports bike, like which ones get into the more accidents. Are there statistics on that? If so, I would be interested to know, for one. And then I would be interested to know how they happened, what the statistics are on that. Were they related to careless driving, perhaps alcohol, stunt riding, splitting lanes? I don't know. I would be interested to know that stuff. So I don't know what the big craze is with the sports bikes anyways. It seems to be, like I said, with the young kids, they like that power, the speed. But, say you're going to go riding with your girl. She's got this maybe a little pad, maybe a half of a seat to sit on, and she's laying on the driver's back. So how far could you ride comfortably like that? That, to me, isn't like something that would be very enjoyable. If you're a single guy and you like the high speed, you like the idea of doing wheelies and all that crazy stuff, I guess a sport bike's for you. Not for an old fart like me, though. Well, I don't know. I guess that's just always a question with me about that because I've spent a lot of time on two wheels, put a lot of miles on two wheels, and I have a hard time understanding why some people choose to go that route and why they don't take comfort and adverse to speed and power. And well, I'm sure you know the guys too that have a cruiser, and they're not happy with the way it comes from the shop, from the dealership. They got to hop up the engine. They got to rebuild the engine to the max, so it's completely different, putting out a ton more horsepower. But the way I see it, when you do that, things start to break too. It's like when you have a race car. I got a buddy that races a Mustang, and it's like a pro stock Mustang, and you just don't build it and then go out and race it every day. You are working on that thing constantly because things break. There's a lot of torque, a lot of extra pressure on all those parts together, which tend to break easier. Well, anyway, that's my banter for today. That's all I got. And I'm not bashing sports bikes. I'm just throwing it up for conversation. Maybe some of you guys have ridden sports bikes in the past and have switched over to cruisers. I'd like to hear that story too, because I'll just bet you, anybody that owns a sports bike will eventually go to a cruiser. I'm not talking about a Harley, okay? I am loyal to my Harley. You saw that last video. But okay, if they go over to a Honda cruiser, a Yamaha cruiser, anything, it wouldn't surprise me. Well, I'm going to make my way through the dark, head back into the house, and see what the wife's doing. Probably time to call it quits for today. Been really, really, really busy today, and I'm looking forward to just sitting down and relaxing for a while. So, there you go. So if you haven't yet, leave a comment down below, and if I find it worthy of responding to, I'll leave a reply for you. I can't obviously reply to everybody, but I try to hit people up as I can. Give me a thumbs up, like the video, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe. I would really like to have you on board. And until next time, cats, ride hard and die free.